Hello everyone, this is KIDM the man bringing y'all another Rush figure review of the Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Lightspeed Rescue Blue Ranger. First off, this is a continuation of the Wave 15 reviews that I've mentioned that I would make. If you would like to see a much more detailed first impression look, please do go check out the live stream review. This video is going to be in the same format as how I did for RPM Yellow, so I do hope you guys enjoy this particular type of format. This is still a rushed review, so do expect some mumbling and fumbling, but without further ado, let's take a closer look at Chad, the Lightspeed Rescue Blue Ranger. Now the only thing I remember about Chad from Lightspeed Rescue is that he is a type of Tai Chi master. There was an episode that solely focused on him training Kelsey, the yellow Lightspeed Ranger, in that particular martial arts form, and that has stuck with me until this day. There was also the episode where his master did train a monster in martial arts, but I do feel that that might be the particular same episode. But the figure is really cool, being our first Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. The helmet of the figure is nicely molded and painted, however it is not entirely screen accurate. I say that because on the show, the helmet doesn't actually have all of the visors or the lines sculpted on. It's actually meant to be a much more glossy or incorporated part of his helmet itself. However, in figure form, I am quite surprised that Hasbro did not just simply paint on the patterns or the visor on top of a helmet. So that is a pretty nice touch. Each and every part of the helmet is sculpted nicely onto the plastic with a nice glossy overcoat on top of it. Hasbro did an amazing job painting in between the lines of the Lightspeed blue helmet. They even managed to paint the tiny white outlines along the visor. Historically speaking, visor outlines isn't a priority for Hasbro. Looking at you, Dino Thunder. So I really do hope this type of quality continues for the rest of the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers. Since Chad here is using a new Lightning Collection body mold, we also got a new Lightning Collection neck. This particular neck is able to rotate from side to side from the base of the torso. The neck of the figure does include a type of jugular shaped type of mold, so it does allow posing with the neck look even more natural. The torso of the figure is a clear indication that this is a new body mold since it is much more smaller than the rest of all of the existing Lightning Collection figures. It is entirely molded in blue plastic with the white colors of it painted on. I remember during my live stream that someone in my chat said once we get Carter, we finally get an Umbrella Ranger. So I guess this is considered the blue Umbrella Ranger? Since the white of the figure is actually painted on, you really have to be careful when handling this particular figure. Because if you were to drop it or if you were to have any kind of plastic scraping against it, you would basically be scraping off the white on the figure, thus ruining the look of the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers. However, it's not entirely perfect to begin with because each and every one of these white streaks or white triangles on the torso was painted individually, which means they painted one after the other. Thus, if we were to take a closer look at the center of the torso, we can see that they do not align properly. So that's another downside. If we were to arch the figure backwards, we can see that the painting does continue on in the abdomen area of the figure. So that way we won't actually have any kind of missing paint if you were to pose him in this particular position. However, this is still not perfect, as just like every other Lightning Collection figure, if you were to twist the torso from left to right, the illusion of a perfectly good figure then breaks. This has been seen before time and time again with Ranger suits that has all of the patterns from the torso to the abdomen area. At this point, I don't think we'll be able to find a way to overcome this obstacle unless you were to get an action figure that actually have a cloth clothing type of accessory. The arms of the figure is molded entirely in blue plastic and it is pretty slim. Perhaps this is Hasbro's version of a Asian body mold, but I could be wrong. This is a new particular arm sculpt, which means it doesn't have any pins. As you can see, the glove section of the arm is painted in its entirety. That basically means that it originally was blue, but Hasbro was able to paint the white section in white and paint the gold section in some shiny gold. Luckily for me, mine came out pretty great, plus the Lightspeed Rescue logo can be seen clearly on the gold cuff of the hands. Speaking of logos, the belt of the particular figure is nicely molded. I suppose this is one of Hasbro's most shiniest gold rubber materials. Plus, I'm also surprised that Hasbro was able to paint inside of the Lightspeed Rescue logo. Just like on the show, he does have the weapon holster on the right hand side of the belt, just so you can store his standard blaster. At first glance, it looks like he comes with standard issue Lightning Collection legs, but since this is a new Lightning Collection body mode, it actually is one of the drop down legs. Not many people are fans of this particular style of legs, as it is always a hit or miss. Because as of recording this narration, my hips are starting to swing a little. Good intentions are there, however, as the drop down hips does allow you to have slightly bit more articulation and also giving it a much more natural look. Finally, we got some new boots for the figure, as it is sculpted in a new mold, using the exact same shiny gold paint that we have seen on the cuffs, as well as the Lightspeed Rescue logo nicely sculpted on the sides of the boots. Sadly though, we can't use these boots for any kind of alternative customization. He comes with fists that moves in and out, and weapon holding hands that moves up and down. The rescue blaster is molded entirely in red plastic. The main downside of this is that the handle doesn't have its signature black color. That's okay though, as I'm sure you're all well aware of what happens to Lightning Collection weapons with painted handles. The paint scrapes is what I'm telling you. Other than the minimal paint apps that is visible on the Rescue Blaster, I'm actually quite impressed that they were able to print out or paint on the blue Lightspeed Rescue logo, where you can see the very visible number 2 on it. The tip of the blaster does have a tiny little peg hole, thus allowing you to have any kind of Lightning Collection shooting effect piece to be placed inside of it. I'm really starting to like this trend of integrating other Lightning Collection effect pieces to weapons that doesn't come with them in their respective sets. And when you're not using it, you can place his weapon inside of his holster. He also comes with the Rescue Blaster in baton mode. Now it is still molded in a red plastic with the baton section of the weapon painted in silver. The minimal paint on it is slightly consistent with the Rescue Blaster, with it being slightly bit dull. There is a very familiar effect piece, which can also be slid on the baton. As for his civilian head, he's pretty good looking. It's not a 100% direct reflection of what Mike Chad used to look like when he was younger, but it will do for an action figure. Nearly 95% of his face is painted accurately, with mine having the error where his lips is not really fully painted. It just basically looks like he only has his upper lip painted and not the lower lip, making it look like he's giving you a sexy kind of look, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. Hasbro was still able to capture his signature spiky looking hair, however I do not recall he has a full head of hair, correct me if I'm wrong. Using another Blue Ranger, let's compare the difference in the body mold. Although the new neck on Lightspeed Blue does give you a more natural side-to-side look, it doesn't actually allow you to have the figure to look up as far as it used to be. If we take a look at Wild Force Blue's neck joint, this particular joint system does allow the figure to look up. So that is one of the main downsides of this new neck joint. Right here is where you can see the difference in the shape of the torso, where on Wild Force Blue he's much more bigger and slightly bit bulkier, and Lightspeed Blue looking slightly bit malnourished. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but so long as it doesn't ruin the aesthetic of the Lightning Collection, I suppose I'm fine with it. Here you can see the difference in joint system, and you can also have a mini bicep comparison, where on Lightspeed Rescue Blue, he's much more slimmer in terms of his guns. And lastly, the difference in the drop down hips, which is still up for debate on whether is it good for the Lightning Collection or not. Here he is next to the previously reviewed RPM Yellow Ranger, the Figurized Standard Kamen Rider Fang Joker, the Kotobukiya exclusive Metaclear Meta B, a Dino Fury basic figure, a Legacy Collection Blue Ranger, and Decade. So all in all, Lightspeed Rescue Blue is pretty amazing. He's a very solid figure, and I mean that in a literal sense, as his particular body mold does remind me of Time Force Blue. And we all knew what happened with everyone else getting their Time Force Blue, it imploded on them, as the quality control of that figure wasn't really up to par. In the event if we get other Lightspeed Rescue Rangers coming in different body molds, I feel that I'll be okay with that. The main reason being is that since almost every different Rangers does come in different sizes, it would be a nice change of variety in your specific Ranger teams. But that is something we have to look forward to in the near future. Plus, it will look good to have a nice range of variety in your collection. Now speaking of collection, please tell me to rearrange my shelf. So, if you like this video, blast that like button, leave a comment down below, let me know if you're excited for Lightspeed Rescue Blue, share this video with your friends and family to get this figure for you when he does come out in your particular area of the world, and feel free to subscribe, as we have one more figure left in Wave 15 to take a look at. I really hope each and every one of you are enjoying this particular format of reviews. It's kinda needed for me to juggle my real life job and YouTube. This is KID, I'm the man, and I'll see you all next time.